The goal of every farmer is to achieve the highest possible yields, despite it getting harder to strive for this each year. Agricultural policy in Poland and the EU, climate change and the quality of most soils in Poland are issues over which we have no control. However, everyone can take care of the land and thus achieve better yields. In this episode, I will discuss some farming issues in challenging conditions along with their potential solutions. Hard soil with a lot of stones. Farmers sometimes say that stones grow in the fields. To someone unfamiliar with the topic, this sounds funny, but it's not funny at all. It is assumed that in Poland, 10 to 15 of arable land is soil where the stone content exceeds an arbitrary amount of 10 tons per hectare, with 40% of stones in the arable layer having diameters from 10 to 60 centimeters. This is not a constant value, as the processes of soil freezing and thawing as well as drying and moistening cause more and more rocks to appear in the field each year. This is a really serious problem. The stones lying in the field damage tubers and also limit the amount of crop harvested. Additionally, they reduce the efficiency of machines and cause breakdowns. They also cause the working parts to wear out quickly due to friction. The company Rolmako addresses these demanding challenges by offering machines with continuous non-stop protection using shaped springs, rubber elastomers, or hydro-pneumatic accumulators. Each cultivation machine has an individual protection system for the working parts tailored to the conditions in which it operates. Numerous stone protection variants allow obstacles to be bypassed and for work to continue smoothly without downtime and replacing screws or damaged plow components. Soil compaction down the profile is usually the result of pressure being exerted on it by various agritechnical equipment. Throughout the year, a farmer travels dozens of kilometers through the field, sometimes along the same path. For example, in traditional cereal cultivation, wheel tracks cover from 54.5 to 61.4% of the field surface. Hence, it is estimated that in Poland the total area of soils exposed to compaction is about 15% to a high degree and 22% to a medium degree. As a result of such soil compaction, it becomes denser, less rich in water and nutrients, which greatly negatively affects plant development. An example of this phenomenon is the commonly known poorly developed short beet roots. Ultimately, yields decrease by up to 30% and their quality deteriorates. Furthermore, greater soil compaction, like sandpaper, destroys all parts operating in the soil. The greater the compaction, the greater the resistance and load on various components in the machine. To prevent these adverse effects, the company Rolmako introduces a number of farming simplifications using the front linkage of the tractor and allowing two machines to be combined into one set using various couplings, which help reduce the number of working passes through the field and save money. Surface compaction due to drought. Soil surface compaction is a physical manifestation of soil drought. As a result of lack of rainfall, high temperatures and strong winds, the soil devoid of water changes its structure. Then, especially in dense soils, characteristic cracking appears. This very dangerous phenomenon on one hand destroys humus, and deep cracks deprive even deeper soil layers of water, and on the other, destroy plant roots. This has a destructive impact on both current and future yields. The occurrence of soil compaction in the surface layer can cause a yield reduction of an average of 10 to 20%. Moreover, actions not taken in time further exacerbate this problem. The recommended or seemingly best solution for cultivation in soil with a large amount of stones is to purchase a stone picker. However, its cost is significant. Ordering such a service is also correspondingly expensive because stone picking is a time-consuming and energy-intensive process. A simpler and more economical option turns out to be investing in massive cultivation machinery constructions which are made from high-quality, durable steel. The most popular constructional steel is the one designated as S235, but it's definitely not enough for agricultural machinery, which has to cope with drought conditions and heavy stone accumulation. This commonly used grade is characterized by insufficient resistance to high impact loads and may only work for light cultivation runs. At Rolmako, we use much more durable and resilient fine-grained steel S500 and S700 for building cultivation machinery. The type of steel or alloy also plays a huge role. The hardest building materials include boron steel, carbon steel, harrows, and cemented carbide. Generally speaking, the higher the value in designation, the better. The same applies to steel thickness. The thicker the profiles, the more durable. It's not just about the working elements being made of the best steel, but also the frame, 3-point hitch tower, all perforated elements, bushings, roller rings, etc. These are elements that are also highly susceptible to loads during work on stony fields. At Rolmako, there is no room for compromises. The steels used, as well as machining techniques, meet the highest quality standards and are selected for high runs and the toughest cultivation conditions they will have to work in. The method of execution also matters. Today's technology allows for fitting components together with millimeter precision on the same principle as connecting puzzle pieces and then making a perfect weld at the joints. The technology of processing pipes and profiles allows us to bevel the connecting elements, which significantly increases the strength of the welding joints of the structures. Elements with openings and those where pins and screw connections are present are created with the same precision. Laser techniques significantly extend the durability and service life of the machines. It is also worth mentioning the shock absorbers, whose task is to protect plow elements when encountering a stone or other obstacle. Usually, we can see bolt protection, but in fields with many stones, this becomes burdensome. Rubber maintenance-free shock absorbers will work better in disc harrows, spring protection in cultivators, or hydraulic in subsoilers. Their operating principle is similar. When the working element encounters an obstacle, the shock absorber causes a quick deflection upward and back, allowing each element to work at the set depth individually. Massive Rolmako machines, due to their durability, are also effective in soils with deep compaction. Using modular aggregates, or if possible, switching to simplified cultivation, will limit the number of passes over the field. A heavy disc harrow, a cultivator for no-plow farming, a chisel plow, and others will be suitable for this. Of course, creating such heavy sets increases the pressure of the machine on the area, but in the case of heavy soils, compacted and rocky soils, the greater mass of the device means better soil pressure and greater field loosening power, and often it simply allows the work to be carried out effectively, where using lighter machines makes no sense. In the case of waterlogged areas, subsoiling is recommended, which involves loosening the soil up to 60 cm. A pass with a subsoiler or a chisel plow, for example from Rolmako, will reduce the bulk density of the soil and increase its aeration and porosity. Interestingly, such a procedure needs to be performed only once every few years. In case of surface soil compaction, subsoiling is not recommended, none is plowing or any deeper loosening of the soil, because it would only worsen the situation. It is better to perform shallow tillage or another treatment as soon as possible, which will allow mixing chopped straw with the top layer of the soil. This creates mulch and interrupts capillary rise and evaporation of water from deeper layers. Before sowing, it is enough to loosen the soil only to the seeding depth, and then place the seeds on a moist substrate that facilitates capillary water rise. Combo till cultivators and speed cutter ultra-shallow tillage harrows produced by Rolmako will work very well here. The ability to add other cultivation seeding tools will reduce the number of field passes, which will limit compaction and thus improve soil quality. At Rolmako, we perfectly understand that time is valuable for you and you don't always have plenty of it. That's why we have prepared a concise catalog which will allow you to familiarize yourself with the main features of our cultivation tools in just a few minutes. This compact guide is richly illustrated, so you can quickly and easily find the information that is most important to you. If you are interested in discovering the key features of our cultivation tools, we invite you to visit our website at rolmako.com Quick Start. There, a compact catalog awaits you, which will help you make an informed choice and select the best equipment for your needs. How do you deal with the problem of overly hard soil? Or perhaps, on the contrary, do you more often struggle with excess water in the field? Let us know in the comments below the video.